I've been waiting my whole life for this one. Orthopedic surgeon and husband for The View host, Sonny Hostin, has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run these women. Tell me why she got her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud, and I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the jury?
You're married, Tom. You're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. But let's just not forget who she is. She's been for years lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said on the show? And then she also on Trump's win, calling the loss because of uneducated white women that Trump won.
We have to know that this is accused.
All accused. Yeah, all accused. But he's in the RICO. This is a big RICO case that her husband's in there.
Tom,
Sonny Hostin is in trouble, serious trouble. Reports suggest her family is teetering on the edge of financial ruin, and the reason is staggering. Her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, has been arrested in connection with a $450 million RICO fraud case. The same Sonny who spent years building her image by lecturing America on morality and justice is now caught in a scandal that makes her TV clashes look insignificant. This story isn't just about money, it's about broken trust, shaken credibility, and the collapse of a carefully constructed image. For years, Sonny has presented herself as a moral voice, speaking with conviction about justice, fairness, and equality.
Orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sonny Hostin is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Twites, denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread insurance fraud.
But now her own household is consumed by accusations of corruption, greed, and betrayal. The irony is impossible to miss. Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, once respected as a skilled orthopedic surgeon, now stands accused of helping run a fraudulent empire that preyed on patients and insurance companies alike. Prosecutors claim that surgeries were performed not to heal, but to generate profit, turning the medical profession into a stage for exploitation. Imagine someone recovering from a routine car accident. Instead of receiving safe, non-invasive care, they were allegedly pressured into unnecessary surgeries, all while trusting that their doctor had their best interests at heart. In reality, their bodies may have been used as bargaining chips in a massive financial scheme. The charges fall under the RICO Act, the same law created to bring down organized crime families. To see it applied to doctors and medical practices has left the public stunned. The lawsuit is staggering in scale, with nearly 200 names tied to the case. Among them is Dr. Hostin himself, accused of profiting from procedures that should never have taken place. Even arthroscopic surgeries, normally considered routine and safe, are now alleged to have been twisted into tools of fraud. What was once meant to symbolize healing and recovery now stands as a chilling emblem of betrayal.
The View co-host Sonny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud. According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page 6, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
One analyst summed up the absurdity with a biting comparison. It was like paying for a steak dinner, being charged double, and walking away with an empty plate. This scandal isn't being seen as simple fraud. It's being called an attack on the very trust patients place in their doctors. The scale of this case is staggering, with experts saying it even surpasses some of the mafia prosecutions that once dominated New York headlines. headlines. Imagine that. A doctor's office accused of rivaling organized crime in both size and impact. For Sunny, the fallout could be devastating. Rumors of financial collapse are spreading fast, with lawsuits piling up, legal bills mounting, and the specter of bankruptcy looming over her household. The glamorous life she showcased for years now appears to be unraveling before the public's eyes. What makes the situation even more dramatic is her silence. Known for being outspoken on nearly every controversy, Sunny has stayed quiet about the scandal now engulfing her family. Her silence speaks volumes, and critics are already branding her a hypocrite. After all, how can someone who built a career on holding others accountable remain silent when her own husband stands accused of running a multi-million-dollar racket? The contradictions are impossible to ignore, and Joe Rogan wasted no time calling them out. On his podcast, he mocked Sunny for her self-righteousness and blasted The View as nothing more than a stage for moral posturing rather than truth.
You always say it's always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the kickbacks.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back, describing The View as a rabies-infested henhouse, mocking the chaos and absurdity he claims define its tone. His audience erupted with laughter, and the clip tore across the internet like wildfire, adding yet another blow to Sunny's already fragile reputation. Meanwhile, her silence continues to stir speculation. Is she trying to protect the brand she carefully built? Is she too embarrassed to speak? Or is she quietly standing by her husband, hoping the storm will fade with time? Each day without her voice only deepens the mystery. Supporters insist she may be waiting for the perfect moment, but critics argue her silence is proof she has no defense. The longer she waits, the more control she loses over the story. Inside the courtroom, the fight is only beginning. Prosecutors are adamant this case is no accident or paperwork error. It is deliberate fraud. The defense, led by attorney Daniel Tweets, has fired back, dismissing the allegations as baseless and claiming that American Transit, a struggling insurance company, is scapegoating doctors to cover its own collapse. Yet with 200 defendants named and nearly $500 million in question, this case is far larger than one company or one man. It has become a chilling symbol of corruption in medicine, and it has placed Sunny Hostin under the harshest spotlight of her career.
Guys, this is why we need to seriously have a long, lengthy conversation about healthcare in the United States of America. This is basically it. So Sunny Hostin's husband was basically charged with insurance fraud. What he was doing was doing like fraudulent surgeries and then overcharging the insurance companies for him. This is what this is. So now, of course, he's now being named along with about 200 other individuals in a federal RICO charge case, guys.
The accusations read like the script of a crime drama. Prosecutors allege a web of insurance fraud, illegal kickbacks, and surgeries performed not for patient care, but pure profit. The story sounds less like modern medicine and more like a gangster film. Only this time, scalpels replaced pistols, and operating rooms stood in for shadowy alleys. The lawsuit claims Dr. Hostin and dozens of others billed insurance companies for surgeries patients never truly needed. Imagine lying on an operating table, placing your trust in your doctor, only to later learn you may have been nothing more than a pawn in a financial con game. That sense of betrayal is what makes these charges so disturbing, and the scale is staggering. This isn't about one doctor or a single clinic. It involves nearly 200 defendants. The scandal stretches across the medical world like a spreading shadow, with Dr. Hostin's name right at the center. Hundreds of millions of dollars are on the line, as insurance companies were left paying for procedures that may have been unnecessary, exaggerated, or even entirely fabricated. What patients thought was genuine care may have been twisted into a machine for profit. The plaintiff, American Transit Insurance Company, says it was robbed blind.
Care.
I've been waiting my whole life for this one. Orthopedic surgeon and husband for The View host, Sunny Hostin, has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run these women. Tell me why she got her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud, and I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the jury? Roll it, Nick.
You know, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good
like my husband.
Prosecutors claim Dr. Hostin exploited loopholes, performed needless surgeries, and drained the system through arthroscopic operations that appeared routine but allegedly had no justification. These procedures, minimally invasive surgeries on knees, shoulders, and joints, seemed harmless at first glance. Yet the lawsuit insists many of them were never medically necessary at all. Were these patients truly in pain, or were they simply lined up as part of a payday scheme? That is the haunting question. The betrayal, if true, cuts deep. A doctor's oath is to heal, not to hustle. If these accusations hold weight, then every patient who trusted Dr. Hostin may feel deceived, not only by him, but by a system that was supposed to protect them. As the courtroom drama unfolds, prosecutors are sharpening their case. They argue this wasn't sloppy record keeping or poor judgment. It was a deliberate racket, a network of professionals who turned medicine into an enterprise fit for mob bosses. The defense, however, tells a very different story. Dr. Hostin's attorney insists the real villain is the insurance company itself. He claims American Transit has a history of denying claims, cutting corners, and squeezing doctors until they break. Now, as the company collapses, he argues they're scapegoating doctors to hide their own failings. It's a bold defense strategy, but will jurors believe it? If the allegations are proven, the fallout won't just devastate Dr. Hostin. It could shatter Sunny's carefully polished image and send her finances into a downward spiral she may not escape.
Last week, we learned that Sunny's husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, was named in a lawsuit filed by American Transit Insurance Company. He's one of 200 people named in this lawsuit, and they are accusing him of filing fraudulent insurance claims and also getting kickbacks from them. And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history. And they're seeking $450 million. And Sunny and her husband, they are fighting back. They've hired legal eagle Mark Garagos to help them fight this case, and they're claiming that this is completely baseless.
Sunny's silence on The View is deafening. She has never hesitated to call out hypocrisy or condemn public figures for their actions. Yet when the scandal strikes her own family, she retreats behind the curtain. Viewers can't ignore the contrast, and the double standard is glaring. Then came the stunning revelation. This isn't just another fraud case. Reports suggest it is the largest RICO filing in New York's history, bigger than the mafia takedowns, bigger than the legendary organized crime trials that once dominated headlines. The scale is almost beyond comprehension. Nearly 180 defendants are named in this sweeping case, ranging from physicians and clinics to entire medical businesses. Prosecutors describe it as a tangled web of greed and betrayal, orchestrated by professionals who broke the very oaths they swore to uphold. American Transit claims they were robbed of millions, forced to pay for surgeries that were either unnecessary or never performed at all. The picture they paint is simple, like paying for a steak dinner, being charged double, and walking away empty-handed. The defense, however, is striking back with equal force. They argue that American Transit is no victim at all, but a villain, a collapsing insurance company that has long exploited both patients and doctors.
Anna went in a different direction, but I love the fact that, you know, Manny is younger and he's
How much younger is he?
Just a little bit.
He's like 1 year, isn't he? Like a month or a year or 10 years?
5 years. It's more than a year.
Oh.
Anyway, it's not about me. I think.
Oh, no.
I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He
Exactly.
throws the garbage out.
Right.
He does the heavy stuff.
The courtroom has turned into a battlefield, with each side throwing accusations like daggers. Fraud versus survival, corruption versus scapegoating. And with every exchange, the stakes grow even higher. From the sidelines, Sunny Hostin remains silent, her quiet more deafening than ever. She built her brand on bold opinions and fearless confrontation. Yet now, when her own credibility hangs in the balance, she slips into the shadows. Audiences can't help but notice. The questions grow louder. Why does she speak so forcefully about everyone else's flaws, but stay quiet about her own? That contradiction lingers in headlines, commentary, and every online thread. The scandal has grown beyond a legal case. It is now a cultural flashpoint. It is about medicine, trust, hypocrisy, and the collapse of carefully crafted reputations. And at the center of it all is Sunny. Whether she likes it or not, her future is tied to the outcome. If her husband is found guilty, the financial and reputational damage could be devastating. Whispers of bankruptcy only grow louder, while advertisers and networks quietly question whether her image can survive the storm. Behind closed doors, legal experts admit this case could drag on for years. That means Sonny's silence cannot last forever.
Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but if she didn't really know what was going on, right, which is what she's probably going to say later, oh, I had no idea what my husband and his associates were doing. We'll wait and see what that is. But I think it's pretty freaking ironic.
Yeah.
I have a totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips. I know you.
It's like
twice a day.
Here's all I hear from her. America's violent. America's racist. America's bad. Okay. I challenge you, Sonny. And this is Konstantin Kisin actually was saying something about this. Find me a country that's not racist.
Sooner or later, Sonny Hostin will be forced to make a choice. Speak out and risk fueling the flames, or remain silent and let her critics control the story. The internet has already taken sides. Some argue she should not bear the burden of her husband's alleged crimes. Others insist her silence makes her complicit, especially after years of her calling out others with such intensity. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan continues his relentless attacks, hammering the scandal in every podcast. His words cut deep, and his massive reach ensures the controversy never slips from public view. The irony is glaring. Sonny, once the sharp judge of others, is now being judged by the same unforgiving public she used to lecture. Every move she makes, or fails to make, is dissected with brutal scrutiny. This scandal is no longer just about fraud. It has become a story of betrayal, hypocrisy, and the collapse of trust. It's a lesson in how quickly a respected career can unravel when the personal collides with the professional. The Hostin name, once tied to television debates and courtroom expertise, is now forever linked to one of the largest medical fraud cases in New York history. Whether Dr. Hostin is found guilty or cleared, the stain of this scandal will never fully disappear. For Sonny, the damage is already done. Her credibility, her career, and her financial future now hang by a thread. And as the world watches, one truth is undeniable. The storm is far from over. This saga has only just begun. With courtroom battles, media firestorms, and cultural fallout still ahead, Sonny Hostin's name will remain etched in headlines for years to come. What started as whispers of fraud has erupted into a scandal of historic proportions, and it shows no sign of slowing down.